My name is Charles McElhose III. I'm a resident of Gettysburg and I live in Freedom Township. Where I used to live, it was a very different place than Gettysburg. It wasn't totally awful, but there were a lot of things that were wrong. I couldn't ride my bike on the road. Too much traffic. We had to drive to places so that I could have a safe place to ride. People were always in a hurry. Lots of them were rude. Didn't care what they said around people and kids. I was 5 years old and I heard things I should never hear. When I was about 7 or 8, I saw my alcoholic neighbor's girlfriend being arrested because they were arguing and she abused him. She was also a drug addict. There were still some good people in her town, but there were a lot of people who didn't care about themselves or others and were out of control. I couldn't walk around town by myself or even with friends because our parents were trying to protect us. My dad always told me that you should always walk with one hand in the pocket with your wallet and one hand in the pocket with your money. The summer I started before 6th grade, a dead body was found in the back of our middle school. My parents didn't want me to have to go there. We had looked at moving before, but it was tough for them to make everything work and to find a place we could grow up safe. Gettysburg is a very different place. I remember coming to visit Gettysburg a lot of times when I was younger. I don't remember anyone being rude or pushy when we came here. I came here to watch my dad teaching people about history here at the battlefield. I thought it was neat. One of the first things my mom told me when we came to the battlefield, don't climb on the cannons. It's a place that we had to be respectful. Every time we came back, I learned something new, and I became really interested in history because of that. I love this place. The kids are nicer, I have lots more friends, and school is better here than where we came from. When I go bike riding on my street, I can. There are lots of farms, I can see the stars at night now, and my neighbors wave to me when I bike past their houses. In fact, everybody in our neighborhood just waves to strangers who just pass by, not even knowing them. I've never been to a place where people were more friendly. I came here today to ask you not to put the casino here. I know a lot of adults think kids don't know anything, but I know a lot more than many adults think. I know adults have things they want to do or like to do, but I want you to remember that those things can also affect me and the kids of our future. I think having a casino here would change this place and the things that make it special. I hope to live here my whole life and don't want to be stuck with the problems that would happen because of a casino. This is why I've chosen to speak today. Thank you.
Thank you. Charles McElhose Jr.
You got it right that time. You got to cut that. Yeah, I know. What can I say? It's my boy. Commissioners, I'm speaking to you today to ask that Mason-Dixon Gaming be denied this gaming facility license. Commissioners, we have issues that should concern this board, both with Mason-Dixon and with some of its most outspoken supporters. There are multiple examples, but I only have time to highlight a few. From the beginning, when Mason-Dixon first publicized its intent, it has put out statements that are often dubious or misleading. For example, on the FAQ page of their website is the following, quote, "What about the concern of some for locating a casino near historic Gettysburg? People have spoken loud and clear that gaming doesn't belong near the battlefield. That's why we put together a project that will sit only about 2 miles from Maryland." I ask you, isn't a half mile from the park near the battlefield? This statement omits the distance to the battlefield and clearly attempts to equate being near Maryland with not being near the battlefield and tries to portray that they purposefully chose this location to avoid the battlefield. Still stranger, David Levan made a contradicting statement when asked about the proximity of the battlefield on WGET, where he stated, quote, "We didn't select this location based on any of that criteria. This location was determined by the provisions of the Gaming Act," end quote. In their impact report in section 4.2, they claim that, quote, "The facility is not adjacent to any residential neighborhoods," end quote. This again is misleading since Devonshire Village, a residential community, is next to the proposed casino, but is a component of the overall property, an important omission. Further, all along, Mason-Dixon has allowed the public to believe that David Levan would be the majority owner, but in its application to the state, it lists Mr. Lassinger as the majority owner. Mason-Dixon made no attempt to correct this public misperception. This only recently became public knowledge here. Could it be that they were trying to have it both ways, using David Levan's name as a philanthropist to obtain local support, while trying to give the board a different perception by showing Mr. Lassinger as the principal, since Mr. Levan has no experience as a casino executive? Commissioners, please pay attention to what they're omitting. Misleading our community is offensive. Mason-Dixon supporters have likewise been misleading the public, either intentionally or because they truly don't understand the situation. One example, PCAC spokesman Tommy Gilbert, who spoke here earlier, recently stated that the money that would come from this casino and go to the township, quote, would come with no strings attached to be used for any purpose necessary by the township, end quote. Perhaps it would be helpful to repeat Commissioner Coy's statement from the 19th with regards to funds given to municipalities. Quote, those dollars were never meant to be an economic boon to this municipality. They were meant to cover additional costs that these municipalities have because that's where the casino is, end quote. One last example, when it was made public that according to Mason-Dixon's impact report about $49 million would come out of the local area within 30 minutes, the majority of which is Adams County, Richard Kittner, another PCAC spokesman, tried to make people believe it wasn't true, stating, quote, this county would have difficulty getting 42,000 sucked out of it, let alone 45 million. Commissioners, I'm not against gaming. But please, consider that coupled with all the controversy surrounding this proposal, Mason-Dixon is not an applicant that would fit in with your goal of trying to run an exemplary casino industry in PA.
Daniel Ebal.